Hello, welcome to Evangelist Bobbie Morgan. I am my brother's keeper. Back again today, sidetracked. I've been sidetracked. God knows when we are sidetracked, there is something going on. We got to look for the Lord in all things. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto you. Matthew 6:33. We need to be seeking God in this time. It's a time for us to get, oh Lord help me, I'm trying to get this video to be where you can see. They want to see down the hall, kind of. Trying to get it to where it's like an equal, a medium like spot. Anyway, God bless this time that we'll have together today. Let me say a little prayer and we'll get started. Just want you to know, and being real, I've skipped a couple of days and I missed last week. I'm sorry. I was going to try to do more. And see, even when you want to do more for God, the devil always seems to get in the way. But we aren't going to give him no glory. We're going to give God all the glory. Thank you, Jesus. I'm going to praise you in a minute too because I feel a praise coming on. Anyway, Father God, thank you for this time that we have together, and thank you, Lord, that you bless it, and everyone that is in the sound of my voice, bless them, Lord, bless their life, their house, their whole, their soul, their everything that they need, Lord, meet them at their point of need. Lord, I thank you that you are and you do all things. It's nothing too hard for you. Thank you, Lord, that you allowed us to be hospitable toward our family and friends and people in need. Lord, thank you that you give us open doors and opportunities to help one another, Lord, to be the keeper of our brother. Lord, I thank you for that, and I praise you for that, and I know that you are awesome and able to do all things that we need. And you're always working all things out for our good, not just some things, but all things out for our good, according to your purpose, because we love you, because we are called according to your purpose. And we thank you, Lord. We praise you, Lord. Hallelujah. There is nobody like you, Lord. You are worthy of all praise. And we thank you and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you, Lord. We're going to calm these animals right on down in the name of Jesus. Y'all going to stop now. I'm doing something. Thank you, Jesus. This is the day the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. I want you to know that you got a reason to praise God because he woke you up this morning. He gave you breath in your body, activity of your limbs, and he gave you a sound mind, a mind to know and to know his presence, to know his spirit is within you, to have a knowing about you. I've been reading the word where he says that it's a knowing. It's not just a feeling. It's not about a feeling, it says. And in the name of Jesus, I want you to have a knowing that the Holy Spirit moves, breathes, and has your total being in the name of Jesus. And we thank you, Lord, because there is no one like you, Lord. And we thank you, Lord, that you will and always will be with us, because Emmanuel, God with us, he doesn't leave us nor forsake us. Once we have accepted him and believe in him, then we will walk in his will, his purpose, because he establishes it. He sustains us, upholds us, fights our battles for us. He can't not do it because he is love. He is not just love that, like people talk about, oh, I love you, but they love you today and hate you tomorrow. There ain't nothing good in us, because human flesh cannot love. Only God is love, and the Spirit of God that resides in us, the dwelling intrinsic spirit, the Lord is the important part in us. That's the part that gives us breath and life and activity of our limbs. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Y'all ain't gonna do this. Get off that chair. In the name of Jesus. I will be right back. Give me just half a minute. I got to do something. chair. I need to know that you can't leave them chairs pulled out. Anyway, thank you for holding on a minute. I had to get up and push a chair in. Anyways, I rebuke you noise makers in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Anyways, life happens all around you. No matter what you're doing, do it all unto the Lord. Because we are His children and His people. And He wants us to know Him and to love Him and praise Him. He is worthy of all of our praise. He is what we need. Oh, ooh, Jesus, help me now. Anyways, life is that way sometimes. It gets a little hectic. Things get a little bit stirred up. Because when you're trying to do something right, like I said, the enemy always tries to come in. But the devil is a liar and ain't going to put up with no more of this nonsense. In the name of Jesus, I don't have to. Because my God is able. We are live and we're going to do what God would have us to do this day. I'm going to get the word that I wrote down here. I wanted to share today. So we make declarations in the name of Jesus. I will have a building for my ministry. That I am my brother's keeper. I will have the knowing of the Holy Spirit of who to talk to, who to bless with things that I can give to people. And you'll put the right people in my pathway. Who will donate and support this ministry, your ministry, God. I am my brother's keeper. I will have the finance need to run the soup kitchen ministry, and I will use the building for a shelter to counsel people who need a new direction. And homeless, come first serve. Programs to help people make a change. I will write books and help others. I will write Bible study books and devotional books, inspirational books, editions of Grace Found Me, What Faith Can Do, Life with Jesus, Victor, Not a Victim. I am a living testimony, walking and breathing. Memoirs of Bobbie Morgan, writings over the years, and how Grace found me, the true story. So, anyways, this is going to be like a testimonial stuff that I'm working on, things that we need to do. Plus, I'm going to promote my husband. He's going to have a business, a pressure washing business, and he's going to paint houses too. So, if you know anybody who needs some pressure washing, their patio, their carport, their house, the cars, well, I said cars, but he said no, because if you get damaged somebody's car, then, then we got problems. We don't want no problems. God's going to bless this business in the name of Jesus. It's going to be Morgan's pressure washing and painting in the name of Jesus. I decree and declare it will come to pass. God's way. We have the pressure washer already, so if you need pressure washer, let me know. And you can call him at 601-577-7941. God's way is the truth. And if you give your 10% tithing in the storehouse, and then give yourself 10% as an emergency fund, and then you pray and you pay all things with the 80% left, and God will increase. And let that be stretched further than you could stretch it if you're not obedient to God, because it says, if will a man rob me? Yes, in tithes and offerings. So if you'll stretch out your hands, God will happily multiply and equip you to be prosperous in all areas of your life. God gives us the desires of our heart when we delight in Him. Psalms 34 verse 4. No, 37. 37 verse 4. We went over that last night. do things in a certain way, write visions of what God gives you, step by step instructions, and thank God for revelations. To do this channel, it was a revelation that I need to minister to people by doing this channel and sharing the Word of God with others. That we can make goals, godly goals, and God will help us reach them. Um, And I ask God to give us wisdom and discernment that we will know His voice, know when He's leading us, and ask Him to. That's why we got to try the spirits by the spirits, because there's a lot of deceiving spirits out there these days. You don't know. You don't listen to people and see if they line up with the Word of God, because that's important. Um, I thank you, Lord, that you bless us and direct our paths, order our footsteps in your word. Your design for our life is established. You establish our goings, our ways to your ways. Our Lord Jesus wants us to live in a way that is pleasing to Him. Exalt the name of Jesus Christ, glorifying our Heavenly Father, God. I love and honor and obey your holy word by preaching and teaching your word, the good news of the gospel, the hope of our future in Christ Jesus. In Jeremiah 29, it says that He gives you a future and an expected end. So, expect a good future and a good end. You got to have a positive mindset, and by renewing the spirit of our mind in the Word of God. God loves the just and the unjust. Matthew 5:45 and 46. How does God view the world? Ecclesiastes 3:17. I said to myself, God will bring into judgment both the righteous and the wicked, for there will be a time for every activity, a time to judge and every deed. I think we did this. I went to read this, but I don't know if that video got uploaded or not. But anyways, for we know Him who said, "It is mine to avenge; I repay again." The Lord will judge His people. So, if you know what you should do and you don't do it, so if you know to do right and do it not, it is sin to Him. That's in Hebrews 4:17. Um, Hosea 12:6 says, "But you must return to your God, maintain love and justice, wait for your God always." Job 12:22. He reveals the deep things of darkness and brings utter darkness into the light. And that goes along with Matthew 10:26 and 27, where it says that those things that are hidden in secret He shall reveal, and the things that are in the darkness He shall bring into the light. Thank you, Lord, for this word. Proverbs, it says, when justice is done, it brings joy to the righteous, but terror to evildoers. Proverbs 21:15 and 24:24 and 25 says, whoever says to the guilty, you are innocent, will be cursed by people and denounced by nations. But it will go well with those who convict the guilty, and rich blessing will come on them. Proverbs 28:5 says, evildoers do not understand what is right, but those who seek the Lord understand fully. So seek the Lord today. You need to seek Him in all things so we don't get sidetracked. I'm sorry I got sidetracked and I didn't get over here to do a video or upload. I've been having company for the last few weeks, and it's made it a little bit hard to get time to get out here and or get on here, I should say, not get out of here and do the work of my Lord. But I'm still doing it behind the scenes. There's other things I'm doing too. I'm blogging. on WordPress. I am my brother's keeper at WordPress. Little Child of God is my username. So look me up on there, and there's I am my brother's keeper project at wordpress.com also. So those are my websites on WordPress. And then I have Google Business. It's called Create It Your Way. Um, Look it up. I don't exactly know the um, website email thing. I have it posted on my phone, and sometimes I post it in my blogs on the WordPress. So go there and look at it and see how you like my blogs, because I'm ministering to the world in through the blogs and through my channel, and I'm sending inspirational. I have an inspirational channel, an exercise channel. I mean, I'm adding those things to my channel, so check me out. It's Evangelist Bobbie Morgan. I'm on it's LIL Child of God 64 at gmail.com. It's LILCHILDOFGOD. I capitalize the G in God 64 at gmail.com. Anyways, write me an email if you would like. I love y'all, and I praise the Lord, and I thank Him for you, and I thank God that if you're an evildoer, that you turn from your evil ways. God says, if my people, He knows that if you know Him and that you've just backslidden, He's married to the backslider. So let's seek Him again. Seek Him. God's word says, if my people who are called by my name will seek my face and pray and turn from their wicked ways, that He will hear from heaven and heal their land. In the name of Jesus, I decree and declare some people's lands needs healing. And I decree and declare He's going about to heal that land. But you seek Him. He will heal your land. He will. And Micah 6:8 says, He has shown you, O mortal, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Hallelujah. We have to be humble before God, because He says the proud He will destroy. So humble yourself under the mighty hand of God, because He is worthy. He is with you. He doesn't leave you. He never will leave you nor forsake you. As long as you seek Him and call upon Him and know that He is with you, that He is your Lord and Savior, that you give Him honor and reverence, you fear the Lord. That's the beginning of understanding, and understanding is the beginning of knowledge, and knowledge is the beginning of wisdom. So we got to press on, press through, press on to the prize of the high calling of our God. And Jesus is the one we let go and let God. I find that He establishes, He upholds us, He sustains us, He fights our battles for us. What can we do of ourselves? Can't do nothing. Nothing. Without Him, we are nothing but dirt. Please. If He made us from the dust of the earth, that is dirt. Come on. Don't you know you made from dirt, but your body is a holy temple to God? That's to acknowledge Him and to present your body to Him as a living sacrifice, that it is your reasonable service. Oh, Father God, He just wants us to know and walk in the will and the way. He is the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through the Son. If you're trying to get there any other way, you're a thief and a robber. So I'm telling you from my heart, this is the way that it is. If you think you can get to heaven any other way except to know God and have a real relationship with Him, and through the blood of Jesus Christ, that covers us through that, we have the remission of sin, that we are forgiven, not forsaken, that we are children and servants, and we're to love one another as Christ loved us and gave His life for us. says, no greater love is there than a man lay down his life for his friends. And Jesus said he called us his friends. We're his children, but we is also his friends. We is also his brother, his sisters. We are, we have the DNA, we're royal priesthood. We're a peculiar people. No one like Jesus, and so there's no one like us. We are your children of the Most High God. There ain't nobody like you. Stop that. In the name of Jesus, in the name of Jesus, we are loved. We Everything's going to be all right if you trust God, if you believe in God, if you know that He is your Lord and Savior. If you're frustrated in your spirit, you're not walking in the way. Something is amiss. Something is wrong in your walk. But know that all you have to do is think, and God knows. Think it. If you think a prayer, God knows. He hears your thoughts like you're speaking to Him. Sometimes we utter groans that cannot be spoken, and the Holy Spirit gives that straight to Jesus, and Jesus, He takes it and He intercedes on our behalf daily. Daily. His grace is sufficient daily. I want you to know, have a feeling of the Holy Spirit, a feeling and in feeling of the Holy Spirit stirred up so strong that you can't go wrong. You can't go against the calling of God. You can't back out. You can't leave. You can't get away from God. You can't get away from God. The long arm of the Lord. You cannot run from God. You've run long enough. It's time to be still and know that He is God. I don't know who that's for, but somebody out there that's going to hear this, that is going to be listening to this, and they're going to know that it was for them. Because I don't know, but God knows everything. He knows who's going to come in the pathway of this video that's going to say, oh, that's for me. I've been running too long. It's time to change. Time to turn around. Do a 360. Know that God's in control. Give your all to Him. Surrender your life to Him. Surrender. I surrender all. I surrender all to Thee, my blessed Savior. I surrender all. We got to do it. Let us surrender it all to Him, all to Jesus. We surrender all to Jesus. He's going to work everything out for our good because we love Him. Can't surrender without loving Him. If you don't love God, you're not going to surrender not one thing. You're not going to change one iota. Not gonna do it for Him or anybody else. Do it for the love of God. He loves you. He loves you with an everlasting love. He doesn't want you to keep running. He wants you to turn to Him and say, I'm a sinner in need of a Savior. I accept you, Jesus, and the blood that you shed for my sins. Forgive me for all my sins against you, those known and unknown, those of omission and commission, that I will be forgiven and I can walk forward in your love, in your spirit, in your grace, in your mercy every day that's new, in your grace that is sufficient. And I thank you, Lord Jesus, for the ones that will say that prayer because they just become children of the Most High God. In the name of Jesus, you are forgiven. In the name of Jesus, you have a new life. You are a new creation in Christ. Old things have passed away. That means they're dead and gone. Please Know who you are in Christ. Read his word. Get to know him. Get to know him. John 3:16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Don't you want to have an everlasting life with Jesus? Not totally separated from him in hell with fire and brimstone, torment forever, day and night for eternity. That means it never's going to end, never going to stop, not going to quit. No one's going to quench that fire. But let us be under the all consuming fire of the Holy Spirit, who can cleanse us from all unrighteousness, all ungodliness, every unholy way. He will take it from us, and he will move those things out of your life. Right now, we're in a season of moving. Let us move with the Holy Spirit, because if we're not moving with him, we're moving against him. So, come on now. Know where you stand. Stand on his word and his promises. And know that he's got you. And whatever you need, God's got it. Whatever you need, if you need more love, God's got it. He loves you with an everlasting love. If you need more peace, he is the Prince of Peace. He wants to reside in you. Let him reside in you, so you have peace that surpasses all understanding. The world don't have it, and they can't give it to you, but they can't take it away from you once you got it. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. I praise him. I thank him because he's worthy. I want to exalt his name. Jesus, Jesus, I love to call on your name. Every day your name is the same. Oh Lord, Jesus, Jesus, I'm calling on your name. I need the power every day and every hour. I need you, Jesus, Jesus. I'm calling on the Prince of Peace. Oh, Shalom, Jehovah God. You fight my battles, yes, you do. I thank you, Lord, for just being you. Hallelujah, Jesus, 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 Jesus. Oh, how I love to call on your name. Jesus, Jesus, ain't nobody like Jesus. Ain't nobody can do you like Jesus. You know, he's the name above all names. He's all powerful. He's got all power every day and every hour. So call on his name. Call on his name. Jesus, Jesus. Hallelujah. I thank you, Jesus. I praise you, Jesus. I know that you have the everlasting love, everlasting Father, everlasting peace, everlasting. Oh, hallelujah. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, God is our almighty God, all powerful. There's nothing too hard for our God, nothing that he can't do. So today, call on the name of Jesus. Call on the name of Jesus. He is the only name you need, and remember the name of Jesus. He has an everlasting love. It's a reckless kind of love. He loves you beyond your praying, beyond your worries, beyond your fears, beyond everything. He loves you but above and beyond all you can think or ask. He says he already knows what we need. He gives it to us. He adds all things unto us. If we seek him first in his righteousness, he shall add all things unto us. Not some, all things unto us. So seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and he shall add all things unto you. Don't get sidetracked, and I'll try not to either. I love y'all. Have a blessed and wonderful day. Peace out. I made it through the day. We're another day. And as long as I make it to another day, I'll praise my God and I will come back and welcome you again. So have a good day. Peace out. Love you. God loves you. He wants you to love him back, and he'll work all things out for your good because you're called according to his purpose. Don't forget it. Just keep the word on your mind. He'll keep you in perfect peace. That's what the word said. Those whose mind is stayed upon him, he keeps them in perfect peace. So if you want that peace, the shalom peace, the peace, Prince of Peace, continue to reside in him, and he will reside in you. He's not going to leave you. We turn our backs on him. He never turns his back on us. So remember, we are human. He is infinite and divine. There's nobody like him. So remember, call on Jesus when you face in that circumstance or situation, and you'll keep peace. Because if your mind is on him, you won't think twice to call on him. Anyways, well, like I said, peace out. I'm going to end this now. And you have a blessed and wonderful day. And remember, you are a child of the Most High God, so you are blessed and highly favored. Hello, what's going on here? Don't want to go on. I don't know. Well, let me see. Anyways, I'm trying to get off, but it doesn't want me to. Anyways, y'all have a blessed day.